At some point, we have all dealt with some self-doubt, concerns about our ability to deliver, or a crisis of confidence. I know I have. For some of us, the thoughts are fleeting and easily dismissed, while for others, the lingering feelings can be stubborn and color our overall demeanor. The danger, of course, is that downward spiral has a chance of turning into a self-fulfilling prophecy, where those feelings begin to evidence themselves in actual performance at work. It's one of the qualities I admire most in my daughter, Sophie. She has no lack of confidence in her ability to deliver and is not shy about telling others. She could probably work on her humility a little bit. But at the end of the day, I would rather Sophie be loud and proud about her accomplishments rather than self-effacing or minimizing. In working with people, I am frequently faced with an arguably accomplished and competent client who is secretly harboring some serious self-doubt. What does it sound like? Here are a couple of examples. What if my team realizes they know more about the process than I do? What happens if my boss finds out I've never done this before? How can I manage people with more years of experience than I have? If these sound familiar, even if only in your own head, there's a term for this type of thinking. It's called imposter syndrome. So how do I help people overcome this feeling of inadequacy? Often, it comes down to helping them list their accomplishments or the things that they objectively do well. When pressed, I've heard everything from I met all the goals in my performance review to I know my team's numbers and communicate them to leadership. The process, not just in our coaching conversation, but as an ongoing activity, begins to turn the tide and highlights that the facts and data often fly in the face of the story we tell ourselves, and we generally don't tell ourselves a positive tale. So be proud of what you've accomplished and keep a tally of them for review in those moments of doubt. Another question I find myself asking is, what unique perspective do you bring to the table that adds value? In the moment, people often don't focus on the value that they deliver or the reason they got picked for the job in the first place. The ability to maintain some perspective is important in recognizing your value, your approach, your work ethic, your dedication to your company, your team, and most importantly, to yourself. How else do I help people combat imposter syndrome? Well, we work on acknowledging personal and professional strengths. Again, the strengths that are observable and objective. What are your strengths? If I was answering my own question, I would list detail-oriented, develops practical solutions, good listener. The act of listing those strengths reminds people about what others rely on them to deliver and the areas that likely go beyond mere competence to excellence. The last approach I use is to encourage talking about feelings, pushing someone to go beyond what happened to how did it feel when this happened. Surfacing the feelings often reveals a deeper issue. Maybe it's fear of not knowing, fear of being wrong, maybe fear of being embarrassed. Once the feelings can be discussed, then we can talk about how to manage them. My daughter Sophie is the exception rather than the rule. There will likely be a time when you begin to question yourself, and there will be any number of strategies you can use to pull yourself out of that downward spiral. If you're being honest, and this rings true, try out some of these approaches or reach out to me to get some additional support.